greatest podcast in the world! Today we have a glorious group of guests, a special guest, and we have Hotaru, Jerry, Kubaki, Leonard, SonicMega, Spir, Nightborn, and me, Khord Kitty. So, now we're going to go through some introductions. First off, Hotaru.
Hello, I'm Hotaru. I'm a bit of a gray muzzle here, but
He's 28, you know. I mean, whatever.
almost. Yeah, almost 29. Yeah, getting close there.
It's not that. I mean, he's 1 year older than me. That's not gray muzzle.
So yeah, you're getting close there too. So.
Oh, thanks, Jerry.
I am Jerry Husky of Anthrotalon. Hey, how you doing out there in podcast land?
We're doing awful. We hate you, Jerry.
Aw.
No, we love you. Okay, and I am Khord Kitty. I am a kitty. I live in the city. I also act and sometimes play piano and play around. It is fun. Yes. And we got Kubaki, another kitty.
Hello, I'm in Utah. Get me out of here, please.
What's wrong with it?
Oh no, it's just very, very, very religious politically.
Oh, I see.
I know what you mean.
Or is it political religiously?
You just fucked my mind. Leonard.
Leonard here, snow leopard from Massachusetts.
And that was intentional, Leonard the Leopard?
Yes,
Let me guess, are you a Leo?
I am not.
Oh.
How does it feel to be living a lie?
Leonard, tell us about yourself.
Let's see, about myself.
It should be pretty easy because you hang out with yourself a lot.
Yes, I do, and I also talk to myself a lot. Can I say that? I talk to myself, but I'm never alone.
You just said that, so the permission will be, well, kind of useless.
Good point.
So we know nothing about you other than you like to talk to yourself. Are you institutionalized in any place?
No, maybe I should be. Sometimes I wonder.
Good to note. We'll try to contact the local mental institution. All right, we got Nightborn. Nightborn!
Hello.
Nightborn.
Moogle from Minnesota.
Now, Nightborn, your other name is Gunner. Does that mean you have some sort of malicious tendencies?
Oh, that's not his other name. I hate when I have to explain this to people. The reason why Gunner's up there because a friend of mine decided to gift me with an icon and told me to ask this artist to basically have done whatever he wants, and he had his Moogle icon done by that dude. So I said, I want mine just like his, except that my Moogle's a gunner instead of a green mage.
All right, well, now you never have to explain it again. You'll just, say, oh, you want to explain it? Just click on this link.
I pretty much do in picture form, but that's sort of hard to do on a podcast.
So, Nightborn, tell us about yourself.
I am a hack of a writer that's trying to work up confidence to work on freelance stuff, for cracked articles.
So, Spur, tell us about yourself.
I don't know where to start.
What planet do you currently live on?
Earth?
Me too! Oh my god! Oh my god. Coincidence.
All world.
I remember you do art. You drew my persona, and it looks super cute and stuff.
Yeah, I should redo it, though.
But I question, I'm even looking at your icon, and you don't draw brows.
I know, it's just, it's something I should, get in the habit of doing, I guess.
But maybe it's some sort of artistic statement against expressionism?
I
I
see
never
a
thought
problem
about
with
that.
I see a problem with Khord's icon. You couldn't even keep his eyes the same colors.
And they're not supposed to be the same colors.
Well, wait a minute. He shouldn't have heterochromia because last I checked, you were gay.
Homochromia. That's SonicMega. You're last, but not least. What?
Hi. I'm SonicMega, and I'm the official stunt double for all the physical stunts the podcast team does. And yes, I do voiceover, and I'm very much a gamer at heart, and I do QA testing, which means, ironically enough, I spend most of my day playing video games, and then I come home and I play video games. And then every so often, I go into a studio, and I do voices for video games, and also anime. So my life is very boring.
So QA video games. Now, explain that a bit, because when I think QA, I think question answers.
QA, quality assurance. Basically, I'm the person who goes into an office with other people, and I sit down and we get early or late builds of games and anime from companies that we work for, and I play through it. And my definite job is to actually go through the game and do whatever I can to try and break it. And then, and I don't mean broken as in like, man, I made the perfect party and no one can beat me. I mean broken as in, hey, I did this thing and now the entire system is unresponsive. So I find those and then I log them and they fix them, hopefully. But usually by the time a game comes out, I could give you all the information on the best stuff to do or the best party members to have or how to raise your characters or where all the rare items are. It's pretty interesting. And I've even gotten a few games for free out of the testing process. So I actually had to buy a PlayStation Vita the other month just because I had this collection of games I couldn't play.
I feel like
So,
this is
how much of your life is based on Grandma's Boy?
On Grandma's Boy?
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I remember that movie. I don't remember much about it, but I remember, I forget what the film was called, but it was a film where like the opening scene, I think these kids have like their parents taken away. And like in one of the opening scenes, it's this grandmother like playing Sonic the Hedgehog while her kids watching it and egging her on. I'm like, I must have been like 10 at the time. It's like, I want a grandma like that.
Oh, now I was going to say, this is like the ideal job for any furry. It's video game tester, because most of them video game test at home, without
Oh
getting
God,
paid.
no, it wouldn't be the job for me. I like taking my time to play through a game. I don't want to say, hey, you got a day to go through this entire level, find everything wrong with it, and do every possible input you can think of.
There is some problems with that, because there was a game I tested coming out in April called Demon Gaze, as in gaze at you with my eyes, not demon gays and lesbians. But but the game, I tested it for 5 weeks, and I was really worried that I was going to be sick of it by the time it was over, because I was enjoying it. And to be honest, I haven't liked it any less since I stopped testing it, and I plan on playing it normally when it comes out. In fact, I think it kind of enticed me, because after playing through it with like a hacked party and max stats and everything, what I remember now is I'm like, I wonder how tough this will be when I play it as a normal player. And then in other cases, sometimes there's new features that get added between when testing is done and when it comes out. For example, I also tested Dragon's Crown. I'm sure a lot of you at least know about that game. I tested Dragon's Crown, and I found out that between when I tested it and when it came out, they actually added several features. Like it was a bunch of UI changes and some other stuff regarding network connectivity. And so the game actually became better than from when I was testing it. So I've been playing that the last couple of days, last couple of weeks. And there's some games I hate. Like I play them and I'll test them, but I don't plan on ever liking them. But usually there's more good projects than bad.
Now, I'm a little distracted because I'm actually in the same room as 2 people, so I have to be like, come on, guys, type a little softer or whatever.
Maybe that's why he's got like 2 differently colored eyes, like one to look at the one person, one to look at the other. They don't actually know. They don't actually know that he has different colored eyes. Like the one person just has always thought he has blue eyes, and they're in for a huge shock.
Basically, I remember talking to this guy at GameStop who told me he was a tester. He actually was in one of the Call of Duty games. Basically, he was barred from entering competitions because he was a tester and QA guy. Is that the same case with you if you end up playing multiplayer-based games?
There was a bit of a stink raised because I voiced Kiyotaka Ishimaru in a game called Danganronpa, if any of you have heard of that.
Heard of it, I know nothing about it.
I heard of the anime, but I've yet to know anything about it.
The game has done really well. I'm actually really happy for it, and they already announced the second one coming out, and people have jumped all over it. But there was a bit of a stink from some people because they thought, like, oh, I just only got cast because I was working for the company at the time. But it actually turned out they almost didn't hire me for the game specifically because I was working for them at the time. But they decided that my voice did actually fit the character very well, and it wasn't worth, going up in arms about that. So, I mean, there might be a risk, and if there ever is, I probably wouldn't know about it, because it's not like they just say, oh, well, we would have cast you for this, but we didn't because you were working with us. So it's not worth thinking about. All you can really do is just be grateful for the opportunity you have. Like, I look at it this way. Between QA testing and my voiceover career, which both have been pretty healthy. You know, I make more in a month than I spend. And when you're living in California at the age that I am, when you're not even like 25, that's huge. That's really, really good. Not a lot of people my age can say that. So all you can do is really be grateful, you know?
Now, do you
That says
go...
more about America than your own situation.
On a scale of 1 to America, how free are you tonight?
So, like, do you look up to other voice artists going like, man, I really wish I could be a lot like that guy?
Why don't we save those questions for later on? Because I think we have like...
That's true.
Yeah, so you guys have important drama to bring up, so...
True. Now, and
not-
we were talking
not-
about... Go on.
I was going to say, give them something to stick around for, you know, besides the rest of the podcast.
True. Good idea. All right, so now we were talking about video games. That is actually Nightborn's topic. So, Nightborn, tell us a little bit about the video game that you wanted to talk about today.
The video game I want to talk about is one I've been obsessive about and thought would be a fun topic. A video game that you want to keep on playing, but at the same time infuriates you and makes you want to rage quit, and then if you have a physical copy of it, want to snap it in half to prove a point. And for me right now, that is Payday 2 for both the PS3 and Steam, only because I got them for free because of the Steam Family Share thing, which my girlfriend Clue already had, and then PS3 because of PSN, and it was their free game of the month in February.
Now, what I like to know about a game more than like the gameplay or whatever is like, what's the plot behind it? Like, why are you trying to rescue the princess, destroy the whatever, stop this Orwellian?
Well,
future
Mario was
from
trying to rescue the princess so he could see his boyfriend Bowser.
Oh.
Then why did you had to go to another castle?
So
'Cause he was swinging.
Nightborn, like, what's the big backstory?
The big fantastic backstory is you're with this crew of other criminals who basically located DC, and you're going after big heists hired by various people like a Russian mobster, some South American cartel, a Republican, and your head operator voice dude who you'll get sick of hearing in game, Bane. And unfortunately not the awesome sounding Bane from the Dark Knight Rises. Oh my god, I could listen to that voice all day.
I don't have a lot to contribute. I'm not like, see, the only two games that I've been playing lately are Candy Crush Saga and Peggle.
At
And
least you
Angry
didn't say
Pagel's
Saga.
great.
Yes, but I mean, whenever I talk to hardcore gamers, they're like, "Oh, you're one of those filthy casual gamers." Ew.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
I
no.
would have to talk
I mean,
crap to
I
my
don't
mom
think there's anything
then.
wrong with that, but I'm not a gamer, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, video games are serious business.
I don't
The
give a...
games I've been playing. Have you guys played Super Hexagon?
I've seen my girlfriend play it. Oh my...
It's hypnotizing.
The music is awesome.
Oh yeah, by Chipsell.
Yes. I just had to find it online for the soundtrack to the game just so I can hear it without hearing the game over announcer.
I'm going to open up my Candy Crush Saga because I've been wanting to do this bragging rights thing. I'm on level 455. I'm cool.
Stop playing that game.
I can't.
Should we be worried?
Well,
Yes,
yes.
please call
the thing
someone.
about that game is, while it is addictive, the person who made the game is a complete douche.
Oh, definitely.
That's not
Did
surprising.
you guys hear about what he wanted to do
Yeah, he wanted to copyright the word candy.
on Sega?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
Wasn't there like several other game? I think the creators of Candyland might have taken issue with that.
Well, what happened was, at that point, there was an independent development party. They do, if you're a developer, there's things called jams, and so they came up with one called the Candy Jam, where everybody would just make fun of, and they had to use the word candy in Saga, and some of the results from that was just hilarious.
Goodness.
so not Nightborn. Other games that you play. Anything else?
I've also been playing a little bit of Cave Story plus Risk of Rain. Bioshock Infinite.
So what's the name of that furry game? It was like made by this one guy, and he like did
Dust.
Dust. Yeah.
I keep forgetting
Sounds
to
interesting.
play it.
I think it was Dust. 1 second.
So SonicMega,
Yeah,
you know any
Dust and a
voice
Luigi's
actors from
intro.
Dust?
What?
You know any voice actors from Dust?
Well, yeah, my voiceover mentor was actually the director, the caster and director for the game. And a lot of my friends played many different characters in that game. We had Lucian Dodge as Dust, Edward Bosco as Aura, Kimlin Tran as Fidget, who did extremely well in the role. I'm pretty sure we also had Amanda Lee Connors. Kira Buckland is probably a name that's familiar to a lot of the amateur community, and even in the professional now, she's really moved up in her career. Dust was a vaulting point for a lot of us who wanted to take our craft to a more professional level.
And you were. And the point is, you were one, right? Right.
What do you mean?
You were one of the voice actors in it.
Yeah.
Let me guess, Corbin.
What?
I said, let me guess, Corbin.
No, I was not Corbin. I'm actually Sanjin. He's one of the Moonblood engineers who you meet him like right near the end of the game. He gives you one of the last quests that gives you access to the final boss.
Oh, thanks for the spoilers.
Oh, shit.
I didn't tell you who the final boss was. Jeez, I didn't even tell that his name was Jim.
You know,
Just giving you
Yeah,
crap.
spoiled the existence of a final boss.
So I'm the final boss. Yep. Let's just go with that. I am the final boss. That's why you hadn't heard me, because you stink at dust. Play harder, noob.
you should do one of those fake spoilers. It's like, yeah, I'm that giant gerbil at the end you fight.
Well, Fidget dies. So there you go. That's ruined. I've ruined it for you.
Well,
Aw,
like
everyone's
the-
sad. They can't play anymore.
if I'm like the streamer that I watched a little bit of last night, he would be very happy over that.
But yeah, I probably can't hide it any longer. Yeah, Sonic is the special guest.
What?
Sonic is the special guest.
The Sonic?
No, SonicMega? Never mind. All right, next topic. Russia! Leonard, tell us about Russia and how you just, I don't know, they're crazy. Taking over Ukraine. No, it's my Ukraine now.
Funny.
Do we need to do a spoiler alert?
We already did like 8 of them.
Spoiler
Like,
3. How's that for a spoiler alert? Things are going to...
As much as I'm beating on it like a dead horse, I'm one of those rare people who don't care because people often don't include the frickin' context, which makes it all important.
what?
All unfortunate is Russia provides most of the oil for Europe, and now they're threatening to close off that trade because America is pissed at pissed at Russia for invading who I think are supposedly our allies in order to change their proto-democratic system back under the control of the dictatorship of Russia.
Now, there was this really great lesson I got in one of the last history classes I took in my junior college, and this guy was saying that all of the wars, like, they all are kind of, like, connected to a power vacuum, and I'm noticing this is kind of like a power vacuum where Ukraine, like, once their leader leaves, that's kind of like a sign that, hey, whoever like wants to be in power, boom, check it out, you know, it's all up for grabs now. And in a way, it like sucks up other countries. Like, oh boy, I want to take a bit of that power. No, I do, and that maybe that's the reason why Russia's popping right in there.
Ukraine hasn't even had any time of peace within like the past 100 or so years. It's always been, in most of their recent history, it's always been like guy comes in, guy goes out, guy comes in, guy goes out, and all during the time, people are fighting, people are being forced out, people are being killed. Just general craziness in Ukraine.
Well, I think if I remember right, I did read the best Explain It Like I'm 5 situation. Before the protest, Yakovich, or the president, was pro-Russian, but the new guy wasn't. And they had a lease on a port which was a very strategical port for military purposes. And at the time, Russia was afraid that they were going to lose access to this port, so they decided to deploy it anyways.
Sorry. Am I being rude?
Yes.
My
You're being a
bad.
cat.
That's just the easiest way to explain it. Like I'm 5, and the reason why everybody got so upset was it was right by Poland's borders.
Well, you think a 5-year-old would be like, oh, I get it, I understand. Okay, I'm behind this whole situation.
It's just a strategical move as far as port goes. They wanted to keep it, but
It's it's not a fun thing.
very controversial.
Let's just say I'm
Well,
glad I
this
don't live in
strategical
Ukraine.
move is quickly turning into a giant shitstorm.
Well, then again, you could live in Venezuela and all that protesting and
Where is
and fighting.
Venezuela? I'm not really sure exactly what country that is. Venezuela. Okay, I'm trolling.
You don't need to know, because once you go to Venezuela, you ain't never coming back.
Uh-oh. Drug lords and such?
Your carcass will end up on the black market next to all the shark fins.
I thought that was... Huh.
Gross.
Are you saying you know something about the black market?
No, I was saying that I thought that was like a Mexican thing. I guess it's not unique to it.
Oh.
Nope.
Can we just agree that the entire world is fucked up?
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in on that one.
So on the subject of a fucked up world, let's talk about the Anthrocon opinionated history. That's Hotaru's topic. Now, Hotaru, he told me in private his whole spiel with, oh yeah, I was at Anthrocon 2004.
Guess it's not private anymore.
It was a wonderful... Sorry, my lung, I coughed it up. So, Hotaru.
Yes?
Tell us about your glorious history of Anthrocon, since you've clearly been to it longer and more than all of us combined.
Well, I really don't know where to start on this one without putting people in awkward positions that have gotten into better positions.
Oh, please put us in awkward positions. Oh, it's so fun.
There are a lot of high-end furs that I have stories about that I really can't repeat at this point in time.
Well, that's fine. You just leave out the uninteresting stuff, or leave out the interesting stuff, and just tell us all the most boring stuff, because we want to desperately listen about it.
Okay, you want the most boring stuff?
I was being sarcastic.
Okay, like
You can leave out the names,
ACO4?
can't you?
Say that again?
You can just like tell the stories but leave out the names, can't you?
I'll try. Okay, some of the boring ones, like ACO4, it was more of the convention that you would see on CSI. Even though they weren't public, it was going on at almost any room party that was going on. The Dorsai were almost non-existent. And it was a very interesting time, to say the least.
You're traumatizing us, but you're holding us at the edge of your seat.
So, okay, that's good, because I'm not talking about some of the other things that went on during the room parties. But as time went on, it seemed when they moved to another place in Philly and then over to Pittsburgh, it became more of a very strict PG-13. If there was any idea of anything going on, it was broken up. So,
But isn't that what God intended furrycons to be?
No.
no. I
So it's
think
not
it was
about
considered for them-
spending $3,000 and then getting it all splattered with bodily fluids of all kinds.
It's called Windex. But, and, what is it? Woolite. But there's, yeah, or if you make it yourself, it's cheaper. The thing, though, that I noticed with those is people were also a lot more open about themselves instead of being oh, well, you're not one of the people that I scheduled in, I'm not going to be able to see you. It was a very, hey, you're a stranger, let's talk, let's get to know each other.
Now we're starting to get really ambiguous. This is very ambiguous. Or maybe not ambiguous. I don't know.
No, because now
No, I
it's...
get it.
You want to talk to a friend? You better have that scheduled at the end of the last Anthrocon. People are making their schedules so tight. You can't just do things on a whim. They've got every second of the con planned to who they're going to be with for how long.
Now,
back
that
in the
sounds-
day, about a decade ago, it was a, hey, let's hang out, let's do whatever. I'm free, let's do it.
Now,
Isn't that a good thing if you're busy? Because that means that the con has a lot of interesting events that you want to be at.
I'm talking about after the events.
Oh.
And it's about being social with new people instead of I already know you, I'm only going to hang out with people I already know.
So you're saying it's now the culture of the fandom is way more clique-ish.
Very.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I didn't go to cons in 2004, but I know that, like, furries can be clique-ish.
Well, if you look at it now, back in the day, there used to be howls and things like that where it was a lot more adult-oriented. People under the age of 18 really weren't welcome at those. Now it seems that anything has to be PG-13.
Well, go ahead.
There are exceptions.
Exactly.
But
I've, like, been to cons where I walk in a room, like, and yeah.
But
We're talking about
basically walking into that scene from The Shining.
Yeah, pretty much. I've had that experience before.
We're talking about cliques in the furry fandom, right?
Yeah.
I actually have if you'll humor me for a minute or two, I have a very interesting theory or analogy I've developed. Now, originally this developed as a way to explain why the longer you're in the fandom, the more fetishes you seem to acquire, especially why people have so many weird fetishes. But I found that it can probably apply to just the development of people in the fandom in general.
Okay, I want to hear that first
theory.
Huh?
Sounds like
I want to hear
People
that.
say, like, oh, furries are weird. Wait, one thing that always bothered me is, like, when people say, like, oh, furries are weird because they're all those weird furry fetishes. Well, have you seen, like, the stories people post in other fandoms? You think it's just furries who are, like, perverts. They were into weird stuff, you know?
I feel like people in this
The
fandom
local radio station
validate
here said
their
it
existence,
best.
so they tend to be louder than
So
other
it's like,
people.
furries have all the weird fetishes. No, have you seen the stories people post in other fandoms? Seriously.
So here's
It's
my
not
theory.
just us.
Here's my analogy. Imagine, if you will, that the fandom as a whole is a giant sandbox. Like, just say it's a big old sandbox, like a playground sandbox.
That cats will come in, poop in, and then bury it.
I take offense
Yes,
to
Khord,
that.
stop doing that.
Now, let's say that Khord, let's say he has, I mean, I don't want to use the fetish analogy, but let's say that he likes, I don't know, anthros, just anthros in general. Like, that's his thing. That's the only thing he's in the fandom for. So he comes, shut up, Khord. So he goes into the sandbox, and he takes this bucket of his personal sand, his personal likes and dislikes. His personal like is maybe blue-colored sand. I'm not going to say blue and green because fuck you. So he takes this blue-colored sand, and he dumps it in the sandbox, and he starts playing with it. Fine, no big deal. Then this other person comes around, let's say it's Hotaru. And Hotaru's personal thing is he likes ferals. So he's got red-colored sand. No problem. The sandbox is big enough for more than one person, so he goes off in his own little corner, dumps his red sand, and starts playing with it. Now, here's what happens as more and more people come in. So, like, Nightborn comes in, and he's into, like, gay specifically, or Just comes in, and he's into stuff I can't talk about on this podcast.
Furs, yeah.
Anal beads.
And eventually, all the sand is being dumped into the sandbox. It's going to be inevitable that
So
some
I'm
other
the
person...
cancer of the fandom then.
Some other person's sand is going to start mixing into yours. And now these people have a choice. Eventually, at first, if their sand starts mixing, they can just up and move to a different part of the fandom or to another group. But then you hit a point where there's too many people in the sandbox, and the sand is starting to mix. And then they have to make a choice. Do I leave the sandbox, which may be one of the only places where I've ever felt accepted or been able to have things that I like, and be ostracized again? Or do I tolerate it and stay in the sandbox and force myself to interact with other people's sand? So of course, most of these people who are in this fandom, I would say, I don't want to say all of them, I don't want to stereotype, but I would say a fair number of people in the fandom have some sort of social awkwardness or have come into it as a way of finding acceptance. You believe me on that, right?
Of course I do.
Yeah.
And they
It's
don't want to
almost
throw
like
that
any other
away.
hobby.
And they don't want to throw that away. So they adapt and they tolerate and they accept all this differently colored sand that's intruding on theirs until it just becomes a mosh posh of like feral pants crapping diaper furs who are into marijuana and incest, and it has to be in Chicago because apparently Chicago is really sexy for some reason. But that's the point, is that they don't want to ostracize themselves again, but if they're going to stay, then they have to get used to that. So all that remains is you get a bunch of people who are adamant about the one thing that they like and really tense towards anybody else whose sand is mixing with theirs, where like they hate you, but they're not going to tell you off because that would risk drawing attention to yourself for all the wrong reasons. So
Unless it's diaper first.
So what you have at the end of the day is a bunch of pissed off kids playing with rainbow colored sand, which explains all the gay people. A bunch of pissed off kids playing with rainbow colored sand in a giant sandbox that no one has space to themselves in, saying that they're enjoying themselves while secretly hating everybody who doesn't share their interest.
That was brilliant.
So we
Yeah,
need,
but what
we
about the
need
furs
more
that actually like the
diversity. First.
No, you just need to throw some people out of the fucking sandbox.
Oh, like
Who are we gonna choose first?
The
Diaper
18-year-olds.
Crusader Cat.
honestly, I don't care if people like draw weird stuff that I don't like, because they can draw what they want, you know. I don't like it, you know. I'll just like not comment on it, you know, unless they're one of those people who like shoves it in your face.
Just skip over it.
Don't
Hey.
save my work. I don't like when people do that.
I have a
If
lesson I've learned.
If I watch you, don't say thank you. It's offensive.
Oh,
no, not that.
I have a lesson I learned from one of my other fandoms. Love and tolerate. That's it.
Oh.
Anything but
Isn't that pretty much the point of almost any fandom except for the ones that have turned completely sour, like the Call of Duty?
That was a fandom of Call of Duty.
Well, I mean more of the community, but good God, don't get me started on that.
But yeah,
See, I thought furries was just go out and fornicate.
I think Sonic might have made the perfect transition to my topic, Crusader Cat. Now, why would I choose Crusader Cat? I actually tried to make him a guest on the show because I know him. And the reason why I wanted to make him a guest is because he's been telling me that he wants to be seen as a better person. Because in the past, apparently, the world ostracized him and just, he's been a victim. But the truth is, I really don't know the situation very much, because he apparently was involved with some sort of drama like 3 or 4 years ago, and I can't...
All I know is he's changed.
Wait a minute. Drama from the furry fandom?
No way.
And I'm completely looking at this and go, Crusader Cat? Who the hell is this?
No, that's what I was
I've
telling
heard
him. He's
stories
not
about him.
hated, but a lot of people don't know.
Think you've become a better person. Maybe you should change your name so it doesn't involve the word crusade, which most people link to, you know, pillaging and bloodshed and killing people with different beliefs.
And God's warriors. Those crazy types.
It's like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this topic on him, then I'm going to send it to him, because he wants his image changed. He wants to be seen as just something better than whatever.
Were you like, did you hear about any of the drama when it was happening?
Of course not.
I heard bits and pieces.
It was like
I only-
2009.
I have no clue who this person is.
Me neither.
I only know him from his Encyclopedia Dramatica page.
Yeah, that's all I know about him. Just that's the thing.
From what
I
I can
don't-
gather about Crusader Cat, he seems a lot like Christian. But
Not
correct me if
really.
I'm wrong.
But,
Can we just have a summary for our viewers that may not have heard of Crusader Cat? What is
And
the drama
some
around?
of the co-hosts like me that have no clue what the hell is going on.
Same here.
well, I guess that's good. Like, if he doesn't have a very negative reputation, as he's told me that he has, then that means that he has
he
no
does.
reputation.
No,
It's a
he
clean
still
slate.
does.
Yeah,
Now,
he really
From
does.
say he
people
does.
who only know his name from the drama that happened years ago.
But you're able to identify it. I'm not even able to identify what the drama is, then I'm not going to depend upon a comedy webpage to be a dependable source of information.
Good choice.
It's just like relying on a cat for reliable information.
Oh, come on.
But yeah, Spur.
Yeah.
We, as you know, we roomed with Crusader
I know.
Cat at a con, but we would both say that he was pretty cool.
He was.
He was just fine. Like I mean, if you were to take anyone from the fandom, whether they're famous or infamous, and you meet them in person, you realize, oh, they're just people, you know, as opposed
Pretty
to just
much.
these weird gremlin alien things that we expect. But Hotaru, you sounded like you knew something about this subject. Like I just want to like figure out what the hell happened exactly. Like what's
Wait, me?
yeah.
No, I was saying I have.
Well, the biggest go find out about Crusader Cat is so whatever's in the freaking ED page, because that's
But-
all I know.
Yeah, I honestly don't know him for as much as I, for as far as it goes. But I'm one that I was making a reference to you, Khord, where
Oh.
you can't trust a cat.
Okay.
But no,
What about
I'm one of the
cat
people that if it
hybrids?
doesn't involve me, I don't get into the drama.
Another reason why I put him as a topic, other than I wanted to interview him and he wouldn't let me, there's actually a Crusader Cat card on the Cards Against Humanity Furry Edition.
Yeah?
There's a Cards Against Humanity furry edition.
Yes, just Google Cards Against Humanity online. You
Is
can
this like
have
officially
friends.
made by the company?
If any of you are
No.
coming to Enemy Expo, we need to play a round of that.
Oh gosh, Southern California, yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to go there again. It's so far away, oh my
I
god.
am so lost.
Sadly, I don't think anyone from this chat is from California other than you. Everyone's just everywhere else.
Lived there the first 12 years of my life.
We have represented here New York, South Carolina, Utah, Massachusetts, Minnesota, California, all over the world of America. Spur, your topic is getting life in order, which is something that we all want to do.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about it. Tell us about getting life in order.
I don't even know where to begin.
Do you know where to end?
Nope.
Wow, you're lost.
I'm very lost.
Do you know where to at least go in the center?
That's probably the root of her problem.
Like, let's see. For me, when it comes to getting my life in order, like when I'm really like depressed about something, it's always for like 20 reasons. So what I do is I list all those reasons. I like, okay, are there any of these I could do anything about? And what I usually find out is no, they're just things that suck, and I just gotta deal with them and move on.
I strongly disagree with that. We are the pilots of our own life, and there is nothing that we cannot change about our own position.
How
Thank you.
about a
I
big
agree.
wart on your face, and it's like it's your half your face, and the doctors say that I don't know.
Cosmetic surgery.
I'm going to put some blush on my giant wart.
Really? So I
Yeah,
guess that's a
you
cheap
need
way
it.
out.
Use some concealer first.
Jerry, please plug your YouTube. I know you've got a wonderful YouTube for talented furries called Anthro Talent.
Yes, if you know how to act or make music or even juggle, then send me your videos. I will post them.
But yeah, Jerry, yeah, so it's like songs and stuff and just
Eh,
music, and you just post it.
Anything furry talent related. It's a lot like MTV before it's sold out.
And how do you find this page? I'm confused, huh? But yeah, so youtube.com/
/anthro talent. It's
Oh, God.
spelled exactly the way you think it is.
I don't want to learn how to do annotations. That gives me a headache.
Then put it
Aw.
into the doobly-doo.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo?
The doobly-doo. The bottom bar.
Doobly-Doo, Pokemon!
In the description.
That was a good one.
So, how many of you are living in an area where now that Comcast and Time Warner are merging together will have a complete monopoly over everything you own?
On my
Boy.
street, I do, because Vios doesn't come out to this street. It stops two streets over.
Nope,
Here.
thank God for
No
mid-continent.
idea.
Ah, jeez.
I've lived in 2 places in New York City. Both of them have had no Fios availability, but full Time Warner availability. Yeah.
Yay.
Thanks, Time Warner. You're great. Yeah.
You know, I remember the good old days when the telephone companies got too big and the government came in and just tore them apart into the 7 baby bells. That was back when the government used to protect us from monopolies.
There's that typing again. Oh my god. Blech. Actually, no,
No,
I think that's from Sonic. Oh, well,
Honestly, I think South Park had it right when they were talking about the cable companies. Oh, We're the only cable company in town.
We're it, aren't we?
Oh.
Rubs nipples.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had these shirts on the South Park episode where they like unbutton it and then like it has their nipple, whatever.
Yeah. The fact that I
yeah. Does that make you disappointed? Ooh, tell us how it makes you disappointed.
Yeah, I gotta go down to Rego Park in order to do anything for Time Warner.
Here's an issue I have, though. The left supposedly hates large corporations. And on the right, they always say the free market, and the free market is driven by competition. With a merger of two such strong companies, you're getting rid of the main competition and growing two huge companies into a supermassive company. Who is possibly in favor of this, and how in the world can they possibly claim that it will help provide better service to the customers?
No. They will provide better service if you have the money to pay for it.
Or just charge you a lot of money for crappy service and go like, meh, quality, what's that?
Like it already is?
I think like a couple 100,000 of us need to like volunteer to work for Google for free for like a couple months just so that we can help them lay down the Google fiber cables.
I'm in.
Like seriously, I don't think people would understand. If we asked them to do it for free, they'd be like, fuck no, I'm not doing work for free. And none of them would realize that if we do pro bono work for Google just long enough to get Google fiber down everywhere we need it, how much money we would save versus if we wait for them while paying out the nose for the merger.
Unfortunately, that's just helping a different monopoly, and then once Google has their Google fiber lying down, they're probably going to buy up Time Warner and Comcast, and then they'll be the new dog on the block, and then they'll just up their prices. Google has bought several Massachusetts companies that were derivative satellites of the MIT programs in robotics and artificial intelligence. Google now controls companies that were working for the U.S. military making robotics and artificial intelligence. How fucking terrifying is that?
I just thought, that just makes me wonder how.
I'd rather have Google doing it than the government.
This is gonna make me wonder, like, how long it is till we get our first instance of someone shooting down an Amazon delivery drone. But that just made me think of a perfect which would you rather? Like, which of these two evils would you rather have? A, Google Fiber never happens and we're forced to pay based on the merger's prices. Or B, Google Fiber is available, but in order to sign up for it, you have to link Google to all your accounts, including YouTube.
Isn't that already the case?
And I mean everything.
I choose option C, where we actually have a government that is responsible and breaks up the monopolies into the baby bells again.
Oh,
okay.
Man,
I would say,
purgatory.
I myself would say B, because it's already happening. I mean, I got to use my Google Plus to already get on my phone, on my tablet. Why is it going to be any different?
Yeah, it's true. I mean...
And YouTube.
Who would you rather have fucking you? That's what it comes down to.
Why do we need to have anyone fucking us? Here's
Which
one
one
about. We can fight
uses
back.
lube?
Which one would you rather have?
They're in Silicon
Khord?
Valley.
Blue eyes or green eyes?
I like them both. No, I hate them. No, it's awful. I want to change it. No,
He's like, you're like a golem with eyeballs.
But who likes this, the blue eyes? No, we want faces.
Let's go on to the final topic. Our special guest, SonicMega.
SonicMega.
SonicMega. So, one thing special Sonic has done is he provides the voices for Bedfellows, a very fun animation.
Oh, yes, of course. I love doing the Bedfellows. It's my favourite project in the world.
Holy shit.
What about you, Sheen? What do you think?
I think it sucks. The show sucks.
Oh, Sheen, come on, we're special guests on the show. You shouldn't be talking down to people who've been so nice to us.
I think you should be sucking my dick.
Oh, nice.
Now, the thing I like most about the show is the writing. Now, and judging by that little improv there, it sounds like you might contribute to the writing, but I'm guessing
not
that's
one
all
bit.
Chris.
Not one bit. It's all Chris. In fact, I think he's taken some steps recently to kind of free up some more time so he can focus on the show. It sounds mean if I say the writing could get even better, but I guess that's the best way to put it.
All you have to do is read the maker his FA profile. It's just like he has his poetry about furries, and it's so complex, but it's funny, and it's like, wow, like that's what makes a really good show. It's all about the writing. What's that
Speaking
thing?
honestly,
Boom.
I have felt I do think the writing in the show is really solid. I have brought it up with Chris before that one of the things that it's been getting better on, but needs a little bit more work on, is comedic timing. Because if you think about like the Looney Tunes golden age, like I'm talking about the Tex Avery cartoons, I forget what it was. Just the people who made the really good Bugs Bunny shorts. A very common thing between them all was that they were masters of comedic timing. It wasn't so much the writing as it was the animation on screen or like the cuts that people would make. Like to make a really bad example, like when you think of Family Guy and Peter's like, well, you're not going to get me to do that. And then it does like a cut and he's doing it anyway. He's like, oh, crap. Something like that.
Well, I was going to say the way to fix that is to do the audio first, because the timing is all in the audio, and then somehow sync the cartoon to that.
That's actually how it goes. I do the lines first, and then the animation is done around it. So we already have that under. That's what we do. But I mean, just like I like Chris's writing. There's times that I'd like to see if I can throw my own 2 cents into it as well. Do some creative writing and see how those episodes fare. I'd be interested to see what happens with the writing has gotten much better, but I'd like to see what happens when some of the episodes put a focus on the animation. Because Rob, who's done the animating for the last couple of episodes, has done really stellar work in like the animation fluidity and various other things. And I'd love to see what happens when he's allowed to just go all what's the term to use? I want to say when he's allowed to Ren and Stimpy it. You know what I mean by that?
I think I do.
Go batshit insane?
Just kind of like, I mean, maybe not as crazy
or would
as
that be Ralph Baskey, or how you say his name?
But I just mean like where the animation was so
that kind of
warm and fluid, and like all the motions that they did were very fluid instead of just jerky and staticky. I'd like to see what that sort of thing looks like.
But then you could also argue maybe this is the shtick of the show. Maybe this is the
look
of it, and we don't even know.
That could be. I didn't say it needs to change for good. I'm just saying you always got to experiment. You've always a true artist is never happy with their own work, and that's because they're always finding ways to improve.
Now, one thing, this is just a crazy idea. Logo. That would be like a great thing to advertise on Logo, like a new show for Logo, because Logo is one of those it's one of those channels which is kind of like under the radar, but
what is Logo?
Logo is basically a gay network. It's a gay TV network, like catering to gays, lesbians, and all that.
I haven't watched it mostly because I was, reading like the info of some of the shows. Is like it's going for the stereotypical crap, isn't it?
Like a lot of channels are starting to do more original programming, and I think that would be great for that because I mean, it's just. What other channel will you put it on? Fox? No. Spike
point.
TV? I don't know. Spike? It has to be.
No, Spike likes their
frat
fake,
boy douchebags
and their fake reality TV.
But Logo, they're trying to go towards the younger folk, and it's a lot of gay themes. I think it would be an interesting pitch, like to try to stick this on TV. And the reason why I have bigger aspirations for it is because, I'm a fan. I feel like the internet is a smaller stage than the TV.
I disagree. I think the TV stage is getting smaller as the internet stage increases with this new generation.
And I think
Netflix...
I
agree. That's especially why you see,
too, Khord.
Like, even Nintendo was starting to include, like, Hulu and YouTube and Amazon and stuff on their programs. I do think that television is struggling, actually, to keep up with the growth of the internet and videos on there.
And I forgot.
Right on top of that, you can see the way Netflix is doing things. Releasing everything at once has proven to be very beneficial for their business.
And that's why Blockbuster's gone out of business, is because no one's renting to put it on their television. They just access it from home on their computer.
Honestly, I actually miss video stores and like movie stores. There, I said it.
There's still a video store here in town.
Yeah, same here, and it's a local
all
family.
the ones around where I
Then
live
again, it also has a deli too.
I think the only reason why the one here works is because it's run by Mormons, and Mormons go there for the deals.
Run by Mormons for Mormons.
Pretty much.
Kind of like where I grew up.
Memories.
They have pretty good prices,
Sadly.
and they always have some deal going on of where you can get like $30 credit for $20 or something like
What's
that.
this about memories? I like where this is going.
You mean the sisters that would show up every week?
What was the name of that show you did again? SonicMega, Bedfellows?
Yeah, Bedfellows.
And if you want to find Bedfellows, it's really easy. You go to YouTube, you look up Bedfellows. That's it, one word.
If you
Yep.
find a
Or
live-action
you can
movie,
do-
you're not searching the correct term.
And it's funny. It's about this sort of odd couple. They're gay and they got shenanigans going. There you go.
I actually pitched an arc that I want to see maybe if the show gets big enough, if they'll consider it in the next couple, maybe 6 months to a year,
A
where
movie?
I want to try something, or I want to see an arc where I forget how the event begins, but basically Sheen and Fatigue end up generating doubles of themselves. But the doubles are the complete opposite personalities of who they are normally. So like Fatigue ends up developing like a really dominating, like aggressive and kind of devilish version of himself, and Sheen ends up developing like a nerdy, glasses wearing, super nice, kind of passive version of himself. And the problem becomes when Fatigue basically becomes best friends with fake Sheen, and that angers real Sheen because fake Fatigue won't take any of this BS.
It
So
sounds like it reminds me of that episode of South Park where all the guys suddenly become metrosexual, and then the girls
Yeah.
love that at first, and then they realize, no, that's not the person I fell in love with.
wait, the
That's-
girls are falling in love with the guys?
Oh yeah, they were falling in love with them because they became metrosexuals. That was this one episode of South Park, and then after a while, they're like, "No, I liked my big, burly, mean guy. Like, I want that back."
Perfect
Oh,
example.
Or
Snap.
they wanted a little balance, not because they went too far metrosexual.
Now, actually, one thing I wanted to go over a bit more because I thought this was kind of a cool story. How SonicMega, how you got your start in it?
How my career started, like
Yeah.
started professionally, or how I got into voice acting in the first place.
How you got into voice acting in the first?
So even before I knew about voice acting, I kind of already been doing it, because one of the most common things that my brother and I would always do, my younger brother, when we used to play games like Bomberman 64, Second Attack, or later on play Final Fantasy 12, whichever one had gone.
Oh god.
What we would do is whenever there was a character who didn't talk, or if there was one who did, but there was like cutscenes where it was just their lines, we would give each other roles, and we would actually do the voices or try to imitate the character's voice with each other. So like whenever we played Bomberman, I was always I was some of the bosses, and he would always voice Pommy, and it was really fun and stuff. Now, during the age of high school, obviously towards like, second, third year, no, especially in junior year, they were telling you, oh, you gotta know what you're gonna do in college, you gotta make sure you have your major ready to be declared, which, as everyone later would learn, is a humongous lie, because 95% of freshmen don't even have their major decided until like their junior year of college. Well, the problem was that I had nothing in particular I was interested in. I was very good at English and doing the whole symbolism thing. Like, it bored me to death, and I didn't read 80% of the books we were assigned. Math was really fun up until pre-calculus, and then I took the same pre-calc class for 2 years, and I still don't remember a single thing I did in it. Science was just okay, and I slept through all of my classes in history. So I was really not sure what I wanted to do with my life. And then comes one evening, December 29th, 2006, I want to say, of my junior year of high school, and I was really bored and playing on Neopets at 3:23 in the morning. So anyway, I got so bored, I decided to just go ahead and check out the Adult Swim website that was being advertised like every 5 minutes. And when I went on there, they happened to have a teaser clip, and it was a teaser clip for one of the upcoming episodes for an anime called Trinity Blood. Do any of you remember that series?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and when I clicked on it, it turned out to be like the last third of that episode, but it was like one of those old MTV behind the music videos where, like, if you've ever seen those, where the music would play, but like little boxes with snippets of backstory info would show up. And one of those boxes on the video led to a thing of Troy Baker voicing as Abel Nightroad in the studio. And the director was off to the side, and giving him feedback on his lines, and of course he was doing like 2 to 3 takes for each line. But as I was watching him and like seeing this anime character talking at the same time he's saying the line, something struck me, and it was like, I have no idea what this guy's doing, but this is really freaking cool. I want to be a part of this. So that same evening, I made a folder in my in my music folder called audio recordings. And back then, I only had like a basic desktop microphone and Windows sound recorder. But on January 1st of 2007, I started, unofficially, I started voice acting. And of course, I sucked for a long time, and there's probably people out there who think I still suck to this day. But I would like to think that I suck significantly less than I first did, especially since I've had the wonderful opportunity to voice for things such as Danganronpa, East Memories of Salsetta, Magi, The Labyrinth of Magic. I'm trying to think of another recent thing that came out that I took part in. Those are the major things that are out right now. But just also being able to take part in independent projects like Bedfellows, and there's another person who I got to know on FA who she's working on a dissertation for her animation class, and she originally just asked for a small snippet of her characters, and I ended up doing an entire script as her characters, and she really loved it. So just that sort of thing of being able to bring smiles to people and entertain them or make them laugh, or when I see all the comments about people talking how they're in love with fatigue platonically, it really makes the career for me, you know?
Yeah. I'm guessing the keyword is platonically.
Platonic. Yeah, I don't pay attention to the comments that are a little more than platonic, because fatigue is my waifu and none of you can have him, her, it.
The thing.
Oh,
Jackalope.
Yeah, you got your jackalope, and then the...
He's a cat-dog hybrid. His mother was a cat, and his father was a dog.
And a red
or a wolf, something.
And there's one important part of the story you left out. The whole thing about Anime Expo.
Well, that's the part where it started to get more professional. That's just a story that comes straight out of like a freaking autobiography. When our family was on a ski trip, I was looking up, there were some people talking about Anime Expo, and I asked about it. And when I looked it up on Wikipedia, I found out about their competition, their voiceover and singing competition. And like instantly after I saw that, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to that convention. I wanted to try out for the voiceover competition. So I told my dad, I said, Dad, for my birthday, I know it's expensive, but can my gift be a plane ticket to California? I'll pay for the hotel. I'll pay for anything else. I just want to go there for the convention. And he said, you know what? Sure. And when I showed him about the competition, he was all for it. And that was not only the first time I'd ever been at a convention, it was my first time doing a competition of any sort of thing like that. And the funny thing was, I knew that Kari Walgren was going to be there. Some of you know her as Rain Sage in Tales of Symphonia. She was Saya in Blood Plus, Haruko in Fooly Cooly. She does a lot more original.
You could tell he got that. Once you said the Fooly Cooly, he was like,
yeah, but she does a lot more original animation now, too. Like, she does voices in Rick and Morty and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But, so she was one of my VA idols, so of course I really wanted to introduce myself to her. The very first time I ever saw her in person, she was judging me, as she was one of the 3 judges for the audition portion of the voice acting competition. So it was like, hi, Kari, you're a big inspiration to me, and I want to become a professional voice actor. And you can only imagine, she's like, great, well, I guess this audition you're about to do will prove or refute that pretty quick. But,
wow.
No pressure there. So it felt so good when I got called back to the finals, and I had like an epiphany where I was like, you know what? You came this far already. There's no reason not to go all the way. And they had a rule where if you didn't make it to the finals, you could try again the next year. If you did make it to finals, but you didn't win, you were barred from entering for 1 year. Then you could re-enter the year after that. So I was like, this is way too stressful. I didn't even enjoy the day before the finals because I was so stressed about this. You need to win this. You need to take it home now. You need to prove to yourself that this is the career you want to be a part of. And so the finals day, I was like practicing my monologue and the outside from the exit door to the stage, and I was practicing it to hell and back. I was reciting it 1,000 different times. I probably almost risked winning because of the fact that I practiced it so much. I may have it would have turned into like a flat standard delivery. You know what I mean? Like where you've practiced so much, it's obvious you're just reading from memory instead of from feeling.
Right.
But it didn't turn out that way. You know, the character was to my forte. It was a scene from Rurouni Kenshin, and it was one of his like heroic moments where he's yelling really loud, and I nailed it, and the crowd loved it, and I would find out later from a friend that I'd actually gotten a standing ovation from the entire crowd, but I couldn't see it because the lights were so bright and I was so in the zone that everything was a mess of black. I could only focus on the judges. I couldn't see anything else.
And the cool thing about this is it's on YouTube. Like if you just look up whatever on YouTube, but this was 2009.
2009. So like if you look up Sean Chiplock AX Idol finals or something like that, it will be like the top result. But yeah,
Well,
so
Khord,
that was
the link in the doobly-doo.
Afraid of sounding cheesy, Sonic.
Official term, dibbly-doo.
God damn it, let me say my damn sappy line.
Okay.
As I was saying, Sonic as sappy, and it sounds, I'm really inspired by your story because something I would like to do besides writing is acting or voice acting.
Don't bother, you'll never be good enough.
Yep.
Oh, fuck you! I'm gonna do it just to spite you!
But you're going to
Yes!
fail.
First to understand the true meaning behind that.
Do not race in this race. This race is too dangerous.
I'll do it to spite you, father!
Okay, just be careful.
Seriously, I'm really glad that it inspired you. Like, the same way that I hope one day I'll get to tell Troy Baker the inspiration he used to be, I hope that you manage to find success however you manage to do it, and that you find the fulfillment that you're looking for. It's a great feeling. It really is. It's, I'm really grateful that at my age, most of what I do for work is a career that I enjoy in the first place, and it's very liberating, and I appreciate and I cherish every opportunity that I get.
And I also hope I'll get to the point where I'll meet a influential voice actor that I like or not, and not get starstruck.
Or if you decide you want to be a failure at acting, you just become a background actor like me, where you don't have any lines at all. You just walk in a straight line.
So
An extra in a Godzilla movie.
So that's about it for SonicMega, the podcast.
I vote you come back next cast.
Yeah.
Why? What are we going to talk about then? We already used up everything.
Oh, make new topics.
We'll think of more topics.
I don't think we've used up fatigue. I don't think people ever
Maybe next
used
time
up.
I'll actually be able to stay in
Oh,
instead
what's
of having
that?
to
You
go
want
through life.
to use me more? Oh, that sounds kinky. Well, I'll tell you what. If you invite me back next week, you can all use me as much as you want.
Gee, I need to talk to you behind these closed doors right now. Also, bring the ball game.
Okay, goodbye.
There you go. I wanted to ask Fatigue, why are you in such an abusive relationship?
It's not abusive. It's physically loving.
That explains it. There we go. Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's a good conclusion.
Oh, Sheen! Be less physical, beloved!
We could do this all day. This is fun.
You could do me all day.
Whoa.
Can I ask Fatigue a question? Is there any tread left on the tires, or is it like a wizard's sleep at this point?
Are you talking about, when we make love, or when Sheen leaves skid marks in his pants?
The former.
Because let me tell you, both have an alarming frequency. There was one time when Sheen was giving it to me nice and hard while he was still wearing his pants, but I think he put a little too much effort into it because then both happened at the same time. But he doesn't like when I talk about it.
In that case, I'll shut up.
That needs to make it in an episode. Make sure to push for it.
Oh, darn, it wasn't recording the whole time. Sorry. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. It works.
I'll pay you $1,000 for that.
Oh, boy. That was fun. You see, now I don't want to stop the episode because I'm like, oh, no. All these fun sound bites I could grab out of this.
No, I just watched Sheen drag him off to the closet, so I think he's either going to be dead or not able to talk when he's through.
There you go. Or just too exhausted. All right. Well, I think that concludes the podcast. It's been great.
That was fun.
Thank you.
I'm hurting right now.
Thank you for joining us, SonicMega, our special guest.
Thank you for having me as a guest.
But yeah, okay, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Hotaru, Jerry, Kubaki, Leonard, and Nightborn and Spur.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Great being here.
Nice meeting you all.
All right, and thank you all, and I'll talk to you later. See you guys.
Bye.